All right, let's dive into the world of video games, but this time we're not just playing for fun. We're on a mission to understand why these pixelated adventures are so darn addictive. So grab your controller or keyboard if you're a PC master race kind of person, and let's get started. Back in my day, I was quite the gamer. I'd spend hours, days even, glued to my screen, battling dragons, saving princesses, and building virtual empires. But then, life happened. Responsibilities piled up, and my gaming time dwindled. But recently, I decided to dust off my old gaming console and give it another go. And boy, did I remember how much fun gaming can be. It was like being a kid in a candy store, but instead of cavities, I got a dopamine rush. But this got me thinking, what makes these games so irresistible? And more importantly, can I apply these elements to my own life to make it more enjoyable? So I put on my detective hat and did some digging. Here's what I found out. Video games, especially RPGs or role-playing games, are designed to keep our brains buzzing with dopamine. For those of you who skipped biology class, dopamine is a neurotransmitter that's all about desire and motivation. It's like a carrot on a stick, always keeping us wanting more. And video games, they're like a farmer with an endless supply of carrots. Now, I've identified 3 key elements that create this dopamine trail in video games, and guess what? You can actually replicate these in your own life. But before we dive in, let me clarify that I'll be using RPGs as an example because let's face it, they're the closest thing to real life we have in the gaming world. So let's take a look at these elements and see how you can use them to make your life more like a video game. First up, clear objectives. In a game, you always know what you're supposed to do. Kill a dragon, save a princess, find a treasure, you name it. In real life, though, we often wander around aimlessly, not knowing what we're working towards. But what if we set clear goals for ourselves? Run a marathon, get a promotion, write a book. Having a clear goal gives your actions purpose and makes your efforts feel meaningful. This is because our brains are wired to seek out tasks that have clear and achievable outcomes. When we know what we're working towards, our brains release dopamine, which motivates us to take action and pursue our goals. But here's the kicker. In games, you don't just focus on the end goal. You have sub-goals that lead up to the big finale. And every time you complete a sub-goal, you get that sweet sense of accomplishment. It's like a loop of success, dopamine, and motivation that keeps you going. This is due to a psychological phenomenon known as the Zeigarnik effect, which states that people remember uncompleted tasks better than completed ones. So by breaking down your big goals into smaller, manageable tasks, you're essentially tricking your brain into staying focused and motivated. Next, we have visible progress. Games show you how much you're improving. You see your experience bar filling up, and it's motivating. But in real life, progress isn't always that obvious. So why not track your daily activities? Write down everything you do that brings you closer to your goals. Seeing your progress can motivate you to keep going. This is because our brains love seeing evidence of our progress. When we see that we're getting closer to our goals, our brains release more dopamine, which further motivates us to keep going. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy of productivity. Lastly, there are rewards. Games give you prizes for your efforts, and these rewards serve as an incentive to complete tasks. In real life, rewards can be just as motivating. But here's the catch. The reward should benefit you in some way, not set you back. So, instead of rewarding yourself with a whole cake after a week of healthy eating, why not invest in a new pair of running shoes? This is based on the principle of positive reinforcement, where a reward following a behavior increases the likelihood of that behavior being repeated. But remember, the reward should be something that supports your goal, not something that hinders it. So there you have it, folks. The secret sauce that makes video games so addictive. And while real life can't match the rapid dopamine release of video games, applying these elements can make it a whole lot more enjoyable. Now, I know that was a lot to take in, but don't worry, I've got you covered. I've put together a cheat sheet that summarizes everything we've talked about today. You can find it in the description below. So, go ahead and download it, print it out, stick it on your fridge, or do whatever you need to do to keep these principles in mind. Because trust me, once you start applying these elements to your life, you'll see a huge difference. And remember, life is like a video game. It's all about setting goals, making progress, and rewarding yourself for your efforts. So keep playing, keep leveling up, and keep enjoying the game of life. Until next time, game on.